welcome to Spirit Switchboard. I'm your host, Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, and you are listening to us live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 FM out of beautiful New Orleans. Thank you for being here. We had a little bit of a change in the schedule, so super excited, very excited for the show that we have tonight. I got to meet the SNIPE team at the Lake Superior Paranormal Convention this year, and it was a blast. And getting to know them a little bit more personally and professionally, and excited to be able to share them with you guys today. Hi, Contessa. Thanks for being here. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for being here. So let me bring out Todd Thomas, Trevor Thomas, and Artie Martin to the show.
Hey, guys.
Hello. Hello there.
How you guys doing?
Oh, we're on the Spirit Switchboard.
You're on the Switchboard. Thank you for saying yes and coming on and hanging out with me tonight. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. What an awesome invite. Thank you.
Wow, yes. It's my pleasure. So just for the people in the chat, if you, sometimes it will come up Facebook user and we won't know who it is that we're talking to. If you flip over onto YouTube, you can watch us on Roku, YouTube. You can watch us on Facebook, but if you want to participate in the chat, flipping over onto the UPRN UFO Paranormal Radio on YouTube or the Spirit Switchboard on YouTube, we'll be able to see who you are and interact with you a little different. No problem if you just want to be Facebook user only, because we could call you Facebook user too, which is all good. Hi, Heidi. Astrolight Paranormal, thank you for being here.
Well, Astrolight Paranormal. Hey, guys. They're the ones that sent that clip with that sounds indigenous.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
very cool.
So for the folks that haven't had an opportunity to watch APTN's your show on APTN, Ghost Hunters of the Grand River, can you give everybody a little bit of a background about who you are, members of your team, how you guys got started?
Sure. Do you want to play the intro?
Yeah. Can you set that up?
Yeah, I can set that up. Give me one second.
That's awesome.
Here we go. Momentarily, here we go. Share screen.
I watched I think one of the clips. I'm not sure if it was season 2. Trevor's is in a theater. Trevor's swearing, using salty words.
Molly swearing.
You have to be mindful of the salty words tonight.
Okay, here we go.
Hi, Howie. So Howie O'Dell is founder of the Rift Nation Network, and he has a show on Sunday nights called The Orion Effect.
Are you seeing this? Is that sharing with everybody?
Nope, you have to. We're going to add it to the stage right now. There we go.
Oh. I'll play it again. Look at that guy. Oh my God.
Oh, I love that sound at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, that's our intro.
You guys are, is it season 3? You guys are starting in January?
Yes.
That's
It
incredible.
starts to air. Yeah.
We're currently filming season 4. So
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for popping in the chat.
Hi, Michelle. That's awesome. You can see everyone chatting.
I almost forgot it was Friday today. I did not forget that it was Friday. I can't wait to get to Friday, actually. It was my first week back doing sessions. October was crazy. Did you guys have a lot going on in October?
oh yeah, we always do. It's like our busiest month.
Right?
Yeah. In previous years, we used to do a lot of community outreach and fundraising for different things. But this year, we're just too busy. We had to put that on the back burner. And then, so like we had that Paracon at the beginning of the month, and so it's been wild.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you guys could introduce yourselves, talk about how you guys started SNIPE, or a little bit about your background, just to introduce yourselves to the people who haven't had an opportunity to watch the show or to meet you guys out and about in the things that you've participated in.
Well, my name is Todd Thomas Sr.
Oh. Somebody's saying happy belated birthday. So you guys can just wait.
Oh, there you go. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, that's very nice.
I'm really sorry that we can't see who it is. If you guys want to pop over onto YouTube, Spirit Switchboard, or the UFO Paranormal United Public Radio Network, either or on YouTube, we'll be able to see who it is that's chatting with us.
Yeah,
sorry.
Thank you. Yeah. So you probably guessed Trevor and I are twins, and we actually started ghost hunting when we were young. We were probably 7-8 years old, and one of our first cousins, Richard, he used to come and visit us for the summer, and we'd go take off on our bikes. And on the reserve here, there was a lot of old houses, abandoned houses, and we used to go ghost hunting when we were like 8 years old. So I call us
reserve?
And it's the Six Nations Indian Reserve. So, and I call us the original ghost hunters in Ontario. Yeah. Yeah. So we used to do that. That's what kind of got us started, with our culture. We're from a very early age, we've been told about myths and legends and spooky stories and ghost stories, and it just resonated with me my whole entire life. That's kind of got me on that track of chasing these spirits.
So were the ghost stories to warn you, to teach you? Is it folklore? Is it learning lessons? Like, how were those stories, or why were those stories shared the way that they were? How do you share them now?
Looking back, we feel that it was life lessons. It was teaching. My grandmother, she used to holler at us. Well, you say something like, "You can't eat outside in the dark. You can't take food out in the dark." And I'd always be like, "Why, Grandma? Why? Why?" And then it came down, she would always say, "Well, they say," and I'd be like, "Well, who's they?" Right. I just kept going up the ladder, and then at the top of the ladder, I got hit with a wooden spoon, just to behave myself, right? So, but yeah, they, then there was like our older brothers, my brother Jeff. We used to boil sap in the middle of the bush, through like right in the center of the bush, and we'd have to spend all night boiling down the sap into syrup. And our brothers used to tell us these ghost stories, probably most of them made up at the time, but they're just ghost story after ghost story and trying to scare us. And then we'd have to go in the dark and get firewood after, and that was always fun. But that fear, that sense of it was thrilling to me. Like, I was scared, but I loved that feeling. So that's kind of what got me interested in all this stuff. So
I think for me, it was more of the warning. Like they would tell you them stories to warn you not to be outside, to behave in that. But after I found out they weren't all true, then that's when I start wanting to go find out more about ghost hunting and other stuff that you're not supposed to do, right? So that's kind of what got me into it, just wanting to find out more, especially in stuff that we weren't supposed to know, right? So,
Artie, do you want to read this and then maybe share with that acronym?
Sure. So yeah, I was checking that out. These guys have a hard time seeing. Can I read it?
Yes, please do. Please read it.
Yeah. So it says this is from Howie Odell. He says, makes me chuckle. Did you guys know that SNIPE here in the U.S. is a fake tail of a fast bird you cannot catch? Kind of rite of passage for those in Boy Scouts and other groups of young adults.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, a snipe is it's a little bird, right? And they are pretty fast. But SNIPE, in our sense, is an acronym for Six Nations Investigating Paranormal Encounters, and that hits a few subjects with us, because on one hand, it's SNIPE relating to hunting, but it's on the other hand, it's also cultural, because it's SNIPE. SNIPE is a clan in our heritage. We have 9 clans, and SNIPE is one of them.
Yeah. Back in the day there, when I was starting, I formed SNIPE in 2013, I believe it was. And all the ghost groups had acronyms for names. It seemed like that was the big thing, starting off with TAPS and all that stuff, right? So I wanted us to have a good, cool name, and SNIPE came along in my head, and and like I already mentioned, it's a doubly meaning because it is one of our clan members. So it was a very appropriate.
And you guys have a very specific vision and like a mission statement. If people, the web address is along the bottom. It's snipehq.ca for those who are going to be listening to us later, or listening to us now and not watching the visual. Would you guys mind sharing what that is?
Sure. So you're just looking for the mission? Our mission statement?
I love
it. So I'm just going to bring it up here. So on our website, we have we put this information in there, and our mission is to investigate the paranormal using a good mind, with respect and kindness being paramount. Share our findings and experiences openly and honestly, and inspire Indigenous people of all ages to be proud of their people's unique worldviews. So that right off the hop there, to investigate the paranormal using a good mind. In our culture and our heritage, we use that phrase a lot, good mind. Gatniko Rio is how we say it in our language. And that just means like to be at peace, and to be nice, be everything that a good mind entails.
I think, and it's important, right? It's important to have that. Hi, Wojo, thanks for popping in. Howie was just saying, now y'all can add to it the mystic tale of a rite of passage for the young ones. And I think it's important, cool. Right? When you are forming a group, the integrity, your intention, how that contributes to the reputation and what you're trying to project and present and inspire with other people, right?
Yeah, it's I come from a variety of backgrounds, and like in terms of creativity, and like with music, there's a lot of when I was doing music, there was a lot of drugs and alcohol, and then I was kind of just searching for a spot where something like SNIPE, like this is really cool what we do, and it's not like we're going out and we're getting drunk and going looking for ghosts or anything. So it is a really positive thing. And I think when we're doing an investigation, that really stands out too, to have that good mind and just hopefully something good will come back.
People are,
it goes
Heidi's already
further.
on the website, checking out the website. And I know that it says I live, but I'm sure that it was I love your mission statement.
It goes a little deeper for us too, because our grandmother, she was a seer, and she used to read. People would come far and wide to have her read, and she used to use actual playing cards, not like tarot cards or anything like that. She would just use playing cards, and she was very very well known in the community and around. I don't want to say the world, but at least North America, that people would travel a long distance to come and talk to her.
Right.
So with her, she would always teach us, to respect spirit, because it's just a way of life. Like I think Artie was mentioning, in our culture, to be good with the earth, to be good with your soul. And I think that's one way I was really adamant about forming SNIPE and how we did our, investigations and conduct ourselves. We like to have fun. We joke around and we laugh a lot. But we are very serious and we take, our investigations very seriously. And, spirit as well. We treat spirit with a lot of respect. So.
And that's super important. It's important, our intention going in, and I think that it affects how we receive information from them as well too, right? Whether they're choosing to interact with us or how they're going to interact with us, if they choose to, how that information will come through. So if your grandmother was more sensitive and tapping into those different layers of dimensions or reality, the more that you've done investigations, Todd and Trevor, have you guys found your own sensitivities increasing, or that awareness opening up even more? Not that you may not want to hang a label on yourself and call yourself a seer, but does it open up more? I guess, Artie, for you too, the more that you do it, do you pick up on things?
I think that, of course, the more you do it, like with sensory depth, the more I'm doing that one thing, the more in tune you get with it, the more relaxed you're doing it. And that's the same thing with ghost hunting. When you're going through the house and most people see it dark and scary, you see it as comforting. And you walk through there, and it just opens your mind up so you can actually hear that voice or that little shadow running through or whatever. It's just a matter of being at peace and listening and wanting to hear it and see it instead of being scared. Yeah.
Well, and sometimes the stuff that may appear dark and heavy isn't really scary. Like sometimes it's how we're perceiving it. People can perceive it in the wrong way, and you're right.
I agree, because of all the times we've been doing this, we never really ran into nothing too heavy. Like I think it comes to the fact that we do come with a good mind, and we're not running in there yelling at people. We're just talking to them normal, how people want to be talked to, and listen to it. I think it's the most important is listening.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Listening. Exactly. Listening. I'm really sorry we're going to have to call you Facebook user, but Facebook user is saying it's important to be respectful to ancestors. I think it shows with the way the spirits are more comfortable connecting.
I agree.
Carrie Lynn, when you're talking about that reminds me of when we were investigating together at the Hamilton Indian Regional Center. Yeah. And there was that moment we're in that little crawl space room. What is that room called?
Oh, the storage room.
Storage room. Mm-hmm. And we're calling out, and we had said something, and it was meant to be a joke, and it was meant to be funny, and we all laughed. And I think just being ourselves and creating that inviting atmosphere really helps. And I'll never forget that, because you cracked right up. And I love hearing people laugh, and that was just so great.
Yeah. And I think that humor plays a big part in investigations as well too. Like when we're holding our breath and you go in super stressful, it makes, you can feel it, that energy gets thick, but when you relax, it's more inviting and I think that the spirits that are there, even if they are needing help or are a little heavier, they're more willing to connect in with you when they see you approachable. It's approachable, maybe is the right word.
Totally agree.
They're saying, Facebook users saying provoking is so disrespectful. I cannot understand why people think it's okay. Well, I think it depends on where that is going to land too, right? If your intention is for clicks and likes and, fast follows, or if your intention is there for help and healing, fact finding or information. What do you guys think?
I think for me, I'm not a ghost or nothing, but if somebody's yelling at me, I would just walk away. Right? Ghost or not, right? I would just walk away, right? So I think you get more response just talking nice to people.
I honestly, I don't be disrespectful, but there are times where, like, I know we were investigating on the Haudensaunee Reserve, and we come across a situation where we know there was what did they call them? The
Indian agent
guys were running the show, and it was like 100 years before us, but still it aggravates me, what the natives went through, our ancestors went through. And so there are times where I get angry at these souls that are rumored to be there still, and we know that their names, we know exactly what they did, and so there are times where I do get angry, but it's very far in between, and it's usually something related with something like that. So
I think that's the only time I've ever seen anything like that out of you.
Yeah.
So, but that's speaking a truth too, to have a truthful conversation. That's not necessarily about trying to elicit a response. It's speaking out a truth and seeing where that conversation may land, right?
And it's a truth long overdue.
Yes. So, but if we're talking about spirit, would spirit see what the changes have been since then in order to to engage in that conversation? And that would be interesting to see what would come up as well too, right?
Right. Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know.
Or how little changes there are in some areas too.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to get some kind of evidence corroborating that.
Yeah.
To see how they feel now.
Yeah.
So
imagine that.
And if they understand how much time has passed. So
yeah.
I know I've had spirits come through that have asked, have expressed regret and shame, and then have asked, for permission to forgive themselves, which is incredible.
Something like that. I think with your gifts, you would be more appropriate to handle something like that. Like with us, we rely on our gadgets, and I don't think that would ever come through on our gadgets, though, right? So.
Oh, I think so. I think it would come through for sure. I think it's just finding the right spirit, the right place. I think that be open to it. Kate Sutton, you guys would have met Kate at the Paracon in Thunder Bay.
The Millwright girl.
Kate is asking, what if you encounter an already negative-minded spirit? Has that happened?
Well, no, not necessarily, but we talked to like Sean Leonard. He's a good friend of ours. We ghost hunted with him, and he's a medium too. And he also said that, like all spirits they put up a front, right? Like he had this one spirit talking to him, and he was in a pirate voice.
Oh yeah.
And Sean said to him, I know that's not your voice. Talk normal. And eventually that spirit started talking normal to him.
Yeah.
So I think that all the spirits just put up a face. If they know they can scare you, they're going to keep scaring you. It's just energy. Either scared energy or happy energy. It doesn't matter to them, whatever they can get, right? And if you let it scare you, it's just more energy for them. And for us, when we enjoy it, it's more energy for them too.
Did the energy shift once the spirit got called out? Like, because I know when I'm working, if it feels like I'm slogging through mud or it's sludgy, then I know that they're not being truthful, that I have to find a way to get them to just, and usually it's for me to let them know I have no judgment, no preconceived idea. I just want to witness and listen. And then they'll share, where I can feel I know what the truth is. But it feels energetically, you can feel it different. Stuff feels different.
I can't say for sure what he was feeling on that part, but from my understanding of it, he did seem like he told us the guy got along better, and what they were talking for a lot more on a regular basis, human to human. So
he made the comment that it shrunk. So it was threatening, trying to be threatening, and then after he broke through and communicated more better with this spirit, he said that it shrunk down in size to him.
Oh, that's interesting. I find that interesting, right? Like, and if you have some people who aren't willing to dig a little deeper, they would just keep playing along with that narrative that spirit was wanting to give at that point, right? Let's just keep running that there's a pirate in the room.
Yeah.
And you're not getting to anything.
Yeah.
Talk to us, pirate, though. I love that. Oh my God.
So my 4-year-old granddaughter started school, and so she does a lot of mimicking and parroting, and so she started talking, and she's obsessed with the new Mary Poppins, and now she's walking around talking with a British accent. Like, I don't even know where that's coming from, but Kate saying thank you for answering. Heidi is saying, I agree with the trickster energy. Some may just be manipulators, which could be true. Someone is asking if you guys are open to talking about this.
We could talk about it, sure.
Investigated at any residential schools, which is, there's a lot of emotional layers to that too, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have. Short answer, yes, we have. But and currently we talked about it as a group, because we understand that we have a platform, this kind of platform that we got now, and that we could send a better, bigger message about those past atrocities, but at the same time we want to be able to do that in a really good way. And we work with a group of survivors called the Survivor Secretariat, and so we kind of just everything we kind of take our cues from them. So
I think that's very respectful. And I personally feel not every investigation or things that we do needs to be shared publicly either, because there are people that are connected to those stories that are still affected by those stories. And we don't need to make that everybody's knowledge or entertainment, because it's not entertainment. It's
Well, here's the thing with that, because years ago it was the survivors that they want us to share that stuff. And
but they're leading. Like they're saying, that we're ready, or it's okay.
So that kind of prompted that prompted our investigation there. And the residential school in Brantford is one of the biggest residential schools in Canada. That's where a lot of people got sent. And when we finished our investigation and we shared our evidence, the governing body at the time put an NDA on us because they didn't want us to share our evidence. So as of right now, that's been lifted by the Secretariat, and we want to. This is where these discussions are starting to happen. Like, should we do it? Is it our place to do it? What do you think? And the survivors are still saying they want it out there. They want people to understand. So I don't know what kind of collaboration we can do with someone to tell that story in a really good way.
Yeah.
See, the thing with that too is that investigating all the times we were in there, you do investigations in there, but you also talk with the survivors and you do investigations away from the place. So you find these stories that you will never, ever hear about in any history book. They will never be taught in any schools. And you hear these first account stories that just rip your heart out. And for us, it's like, we want to handle this with great respect because it's, you know, it's it's devastating what it was. And what we found out from doing these investigations in there, from what I found out, it's just, you know, it's life altering.
It is.
It's hard to talk about.
It is. Yeah.
And it's hard to it's even harder to deliver it in a way that doesn't seem like we're trying to commercialize anything, or we're trying to get some kind of benefit out of something, right? We're not. So we have those conversations.
There is an opportunity in the way that you approach it in discovering puzzle pieces to stories that can help, though, whether it's piecing together the stories or piecing together validation. Sometimes, again, that needing to be heard, right? Both for the survivors and extended family that are attached to those.
Heavy topic.
Yeah,
it is, and necessary to talk about at the same time.
I jump back 1 second though. You know, you're talking about how we had myths and legends and how they had teachings and stuff, that we grew up with the ghost stories. There was one ghost story that I was told that a woman would show up in your laneway and she had a hooded scarf around her head and a black, like a long coat on. And she would come up to you, and if there were kids outside, she would take the children. She would steal the children. And that came down to finding out that it was based on the residential schools.
Oh.
And that's how that myth got started. So.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's.
I'll share another one. My friend, my coworker, she said, like she was like 73. She said when she was little, her grandmother would say stuff like, be like turkeys. Be like turkeys when if you see a black car coming your way, be like the turkeys. And I guess when turkeys are out with their babies, what's a baby turkey called? But when the one
I always is don't whistle at nighttime. You don't whistle outside at nighttime. Did you guys hear that one? Were you guys told that one?
What was that?
Don't whistle at night.
Oh yeah, we heard that.
I was telling you about the turkeys, though.
I don't know.
So if you see a black car coming, be like the turkeys and just scatter. So if you ever see turkeys in the wild, they scatter. Okay. That's all I want to say.
I don't know who the Facebook user is, but they want to let you know how much they love watching your show. Excited to see you here today.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Keep watching. Season 3 is off the hook.
Yes.
It's coming out in January.
Okay, so Stephen, who is Wojo, thank you for popping over so we know who you are. He's shifting gears for us, and he's saying, sorry, but I have to ask because I've never heard anyone ask, but what are it was on my list, Wojo, I promise. I even showed the guys my talking points about your funniest investigation or a funniest moment. Comical spirit. Anybody play with you?
These guys, these fucking guys, like they're always like half the night we're all laughing about something so stupid, and it's, I don't know, I guess we're it's a curse and a blessing at the same time, because like even with our crew when we're out, it's just one thing after another. Someone's saying something dumb or doing something dumb. But as far as the spirit, I don't know, when I never really, nothing came across as I don't know, I guess there's sometimes like we get an EVP or something, it's on there, like that Todd. That
oh
one.
yeah. That was a funny one.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
I don't know if we could play that or not.
I think we got one.
Yeah, we could.
We got one at Pauline Johnson's too. Remember that we asked who that girl was, and they said her name was Sleazy.
Oh, that was sensory death.
Sensory
right?
death.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sensory death.
Sleazy.
Sleazy.
Yeah.
I think the funniest stuff is listening to Trevor doing the Estes method, though.
Yeah, it's kind of different. Yeah,
That's actually it's really funny because we're trying to get him to do
it.
Yeah, he would not do it. He's when I do it, my head hurts, and he was just like thinking up all these excuses not to do it. And so one day we just kept on like, just try it one more time. He's like, all right. He puts it on, and that very first time, holy shit, we laughed so hard.
Well, what happened was we were on a shoot. We were in a motel room, and I was getting filmed, and these guys come busting in there, and they said, they were watching the security camera, and they said there's like 500 orbs above me. So I, give me that thing, I'll try it. And I tried it, and it worked, right? So, and honestly, I only did it the way Todd told me. The only way Todd told me to do it. He said, do it exactly what you hear and sound like them. So that's the way I do it.
Well, he took it to his own level. Though.
Yeah.
Very good. Very entertaining.
Yeah. Well,
but when you're extra sensitive, different stuff starts to happen. Like you're almost seeing like night vision. Like you can see shadows moving, even though you've got that blindfold on. It very much becomes a very sensory experience.
And the more you do it too, like now you can, when I'm doing it, it sounds weird, but you can almost feel like them around you and further people away talking. And then you just feel them getting closer. And then you hear that loud, like they're close and they want to talk. And you just got to listen and pick the ones, right? And it's hard to explain, but after
I get it.
To do it, it just works. And you got to have a little humor.
It's not even in your ear. It's like you are hearing outside, like it's loud, like it's coming right at you.
Yeah. Well, there's times when other people were doing it, and we could hear the words that was coming through the headphones. Like it wasn't. It was just like in the room. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. So Steven's saying you guys are awesome. Loves it. Facebook users talking about the whistling at night. I was just calling my cat whistling by this creepy forest. Thanks. Now I'm running my ass home. Heidi Goal is just saying, not the turkeys in Kansas. They swarmed my car every day. They're so aggressive. Howie is sharing the myth of death fingers. She would come and take the children if they were in the village at night. This is the story from where Howie is. Wow. She would run her fingers across the outside of the huts to scare them out.
That's interesting because we do this paranormal paddle with the Chiefswood National Historic Site, Pauline Johnson House here on our reserve. And we get people from all over. Our furthest was a woman from South Africa. Yeah. She was visiting people, her family in Toronto, saw our ad that day, and she came out here all by herself, and she went on the paranormal paddle with us.
And she was like 80 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
But she was sharing myths and legends from her. Like she was talking like they live in huts and everything too, right? Yeah. And it's so funny because it's not a lot of the myths and legends that in her land are, kind of similar to what we have here. So it was really fascinating.
That's really a good story, that one, because on our tours we're in a raft. there's like 12 of us in the raft going down the Grand River, and we're sharing stories, paranormal stories, sharing information about the reserve here. And she was quiet for the most part, and then she started getting emotional.
Yeah.
That's when like I could hear her like sobbing a little bit. And so I asked if she was okay, and she said she was okay in that, but she never thought about her childhood in a long time, and hearing our words and our stories brought her right back to those moments when she was just a little kid living in those huts with all those different stories. And then she started sharing those stories, and it was just amazing.
Wow.
And yeah, it was so awesome.
Mm.
What a beautiful experience, right? Like how amazing that you had that opportunity to hold space for her and to listen. Like,
Yeah,
that's incredible.
One of the major things stuck with me is that in her culture they had little people as well. And how many cultures across the world have little people? It's awesome.
And it's not even that they had little people. It was like almost the same all the way up. If there's a little people issue, then that means something needs to be done about it. So a ceremony would happen, and it's the same thing with us, and the same thing with them.
It's wild.
Right. So it's bigger. Like this is those folklores and ghost stories and the things where again comes back to that bigger concept of it's a collective consciousness of one, and we are connected to everything. We're connected to the land, the animals, the people. We are all interconnected, and we need to be respectful of that, because we are, even no matter how far apart we are, we're still connected in some way. And so if we're disrespectful here, over there is going to feel that same disrespect and shame. It's just
quantum interconnectedness.
Yes. Yes.
Whoa.
Take accountability, folks. Wow. Accountability.
I want to, since we were talking about myths and legends a little bit, I want to share one that's recent. Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to hear.
Get your beeper buzzer ready.
Yeah. So what happened was this was in the past, like what, 20 years, in the 90s? Yeah, in the 90s. There was reports of this creature running around a reserve, and it was such a big deal that it was on the radio, it was in our newspapers. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. It made you sound magical.
Where'd you go? There you are. Okay, so
wrote songs about it.
Yeah, they wrote songs about it. Everyone were saying they're seeing it. So what this creature was a monkey dog. When it first came out, though, everyone was calling it the monkey dog ass, because people were asking which part of it was monkey and which part of it was dog. So the front part was the monkey, and the dog ass part was the dog ass. So monkey dog ass. And so that's what was all over our papers, and that's all anyone was talking about. And then how that came to be was that there's some Haudensaunee kids messing around with Anishinaabe teachings and practices. Like, we're two different people, and these Haudensaunee kids were messing around with the Anishinaabe stuff, a sweat. And so these kids go in there, they're doing this ceremony. I don't know what they're doing, and there's a part with the grandfather rocks where it gets really hot, and they're like about to pass out, and next thing you know, this thing jumps out the fire, and that's what they seen was this monkey dog ass, and that's what was running around. And so people's, everyone's drunk uncle said they shot it. It was amazing. It was an amazing summer that summer. And it's still part of Six Nations today, like the monkey dog ass. Yeah. I know guys with the nickname Monkey Dog.
Yeah.
Really? But was that but was it seen in other communities? Like, was there stories of it being in other communities, or just in that?
This is specific to us.
Yeah. So
not that I know of. But there is stories of things jumping out of a sweat.
Yeah.
like creatures. So,
And there was one sighting that there was this big bush party down there somewhere, and like 60 people reported seeing this thing at the same time. So
yeah.
I think that was for ratings myself.
But if you're going to open a door, know how to close the door and know how to deal with whatever's coming through with it.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Then
that's
you
why I
guys
say
get
these
called.
Haudensaunee
Or I get called.
Yeah.
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 We never had to go
So-
looking for the monkey
Not
dog.
yet.
Eh?
No.
So Facebook user again. Hello everyone. I arrived a little late, so if it's been asked, I apologize. But I would love to know what everyone's favorite tool or piece of equipment is. And they are also asking about equipment, like where you get it. Do you guys, where you get your equipment?
Oh, for me,
Paranormal equipment, just so we're all on the same page. We're talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Good thing
You better
good
go then.
thing you cut him off.
For me, it's the portal. I absolutely love Spirit Box. I love EVPs. I'm an audio guy. I love catching any kind of anomaly into the audio, like a woman's voice when there's guys locked in.
What do you use to capture that?
I actually use a they call it a Spirit Box, and I think everybody's seen those on the TV. It's just basically an AM FM transistor radio that's been modified to scan or seek super fast. And so if you hit in your car, seek or scan, it's the same thing, but it's doing it all on its own super fast. So what that's doing is generating radio frequencies or white noise, allowing theoretically spirits to manipulate that and communicate through the white noise.
Mm-hmm.
That is then pumped into an amp and a guitar reverb and a noise gate so that it keeps us. We want the white noise, but we don't want to hear it. So we try to keep the white noise down, but it's still there for them to communicate. So for me, that's what I use the most because it's lifetime answers, and it can take your investigation. Who am I speaking with? If they say a name, you can, communicate with that person or that spirit if they talk to you. So for me, it's this portal. So.
And what about different languages with the EVPs?
Oh my God, that's still on the bucket list. Different languages. We feel our biggest thing is we would love to catch something in our language, our Haudensaunee language. We have some that are very close, and we're like, oh, maybe, that sounds like. Can't say 100% that we caught that. Another bucket list for me is catching a accent. English, Irish, Scottish. Oh man, I love Scottish people and Irish. I believe I was born in Ireland. That's what I believe because I want to go there. Even like a Civil War, you get the Southern draw. I mean, something kind of accent like that would be amazing. So that's
I'm going to talk to the owners of the Rising Dough Bakery in Cambridge because I do events there. It's been 7 years or more, and they have an in-house spirit. Like they have a security video of this like candy bar that was on a tiered shelving unit that's closed, and on the security camera through the night you can see that come out and back into the second shelf underneath it. Like there was no way. There's like it wasn't even open on the ends for it to like fall out, but that it came out and didn't go to the floor, that it came out and went right into the second one. But
wow.
Like I tease everybody that it's in the bathroom, so everybody has like, they're worried about going to the bathroom with the spirit that's in there. It's probably not nice of me, but there's definitely an in-house. So if we're but it's a Scottish bakery, it's Scottish owners. Let's see if we can get a Scottish EVP.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
we are there. We are there.
Yeah.
Trevor,
Well, mine's sensory depth. You know, I like for that. For me, it's honest. I mean, you can't download the questions that these guys are coming up with, and you can't fake the answers that are coming through there. You know,
Yeah.
even if you can hear them, you're still gonna have the responses coming through, and if you come through it truthfully, you know, it's true response, and you hear it. You can't help but believe it. It comes right into your ears. I mean, the more times you do it, the more times it makes more sense, you know, especially when you start hitting on stuff, you know, it's amazing because for me, I can't remember as I'm doing it, but afterwards it's like you experience it all over again when you're talking to the people that's doing it with you. And
Yeah.
it's
trippy.
It's a great, yeah.
It's very trippy.
Mm-hmm.
And you get pretty loud.
We're gonna be in the back again pretty soon.
Oh, he's getting mad already.
We
have this. We got this ongoing argument over audio and video all the
kind
time.
of jump ship. You used to be orbs and
Okay, Artie, what about you?
Oh, I'll take it. I just like a recorder. I got a Zoom recorder. I just got a new one. I just like getting those, and then a camera too. Just
simple,
old
right?
fashioned. Simple, yeah.
Yeah,
very simple.
Keeping things simple. That was thanks for the.
You know what what I think is cool is that we all have our own strengths, and our team, we all bring something cool, and I think, you know, that's how we build a good lacrosse team. You know, each one of us has our own strengths, and that's what we are, I think. So, you know, I got my kids there. Jay's with us. I think we're a really good squad. So,
and not only that, we can have fun. Like we can joke around and laugh at each other and have, you know, and it makes the whole night go a lot faster. And you just want to be there. You know, it's very interesting, very fun.
Very fun, very interesting, yes.
I like the history part of it as well too, like being able to experience those different locations and the history attached to it. Like, I like that part of it. Did you guys? So we talked about EVPs, the camera, and doing the Estes method. Did you have any evidence with any of that? You had some stuff that you had lined up. Did you want to show something? I don't know what you've got in queue, so you'll have to
play music.
Just share or the lead up to it.
All right. What do you want to?
I want to play the music conservatory.
Music conservatory. All right. All right. So we're gonna play something from the music conservatory. So how do we do this? Do you have to put it on the stage or something?
There you go. Yep, I'll put it up for you.
Okay, I'm ready to go. Shall we play it one more time?
You caught that as an EVP? Like everybody was quiet. There was no radio. There was nothing.
There was nobody in there. I'll set it up for you.
Yeah, please do.
So this is the Music Conservatory in Toronto. They call this the Maz Hall, and basically it was, if you ever go inside there, the old structure is still there, and they built the brand new structure around it, encased the whole thing. It's wild to see. But inside this Maz Hall, it was long time ago. It was a church. You can see the organs and stuff, remnants still up there. Yeah. And now they use it as a theater for the students or student body or whatever, right? So during this time, it was season 1. We were filming in there, and it was very, very strict COVID rules. So they were on complete lockdown. We barely got into this place, and we were only limited so we could set up our stuff, and we had to be out at a certain time. and they locked it down. So we know 100% nobody went into this building. So
Wow.
I left recorders, a couple of gadgets up on the stage, but the recorder I left was in the back. And around, I believe it was 4 a.m. ish, I caught this. So we're going to play it again for you.
It's definitely like an old building with that piano by itself. That piano is over 100 years old. It's crazy.
Great. That's a wild EVP. And for any, like, I don't think that you needed headphones, but if you had headphones, it would certainly, if you're listening to it, it's amazing. That's an amazing catch. But then let's also talk about that. Like, that would be residual, not intelligent. Can you explain the difference? So for those people who are new to any type of investigation, could you talk about that?
Sure. Just my voice cracked. Is that paranormal? No, just kidding. Residual is something. Residual is like a playback where they just keep playing a clip in their minds, or where they were, who they were, and they just keep playing it back. So you should get no responses for them. They probably don't know you're there. If you do catch them or see them, it's something that you're fortunate enough at that certain time just to experience that. Whereas you get like interactive spirit, or you call it a poltergeist, moving things, playing things, trickster, that will communicate and come through on a portal and answer you, or sensory depth, something like that. So that's the quick version of it. So we feel that this is actually, like you said, residual. You think about it, a church is where you go to feel good and repent and to relive and be reborn and all that stuff. So I think that these spirits, because I think there's more than one, they're still singing and being joyful in there.
Mm-hmm. Well, churches have so many emotions, right? There's grief and love and celebrations and goodbyes. Like, there's so many layers of emotions attached within a church.
Not to mention too, it's a theater now too. So we've been doing a lot of theaters, and there's a lot of attachment to theaters. So being a church and a theater, that has a lot. And when we were there, like every one of us seen shadow figures running around there. It was like every time you looked up, every corner you seen shadow figures running around.
Really, eh?
That place is one of the oldest buildings in Canada, right?
Yeah.
There
was a lot of rumors of it used to be a medical training center, and they used to do projects on cadavers. And the historian guy who took us through said that there was rumors of that back in the day. When they would finish with their projects, they would just throw them out in the backyard. All these body parts.
Wow. And then at the same time, like, some of those places got their bodies from grave robbers too, because they got cash at the back door for them, right?
Yeah, make a living.
So someone on Facebook is saying, I love the Oshawa Automotive Museum too.
Oh yeah. That was an excellent episode.
Do you want to share a story attached to that?
Yeah, it's the same thing with like or we were just talking about a church where people go because there was love or residual emotions there. This place is filled with automobiles like hundreds of years old that people loved and took care of, and they probably love more than their family, some of these guys, right? And so there's still like emotional attached to these cars, and the way it's set up, they're all up on this upper level. It used to be a car dealership back in the day, and it was super dark in there, no windows, and everybody, even cast and crew, experienced shadow people darting between the cars, anomalies. It was just such a I think we all had personal experiences
Yeah.
in there. It was just amazing. I love that place.
I'd like to say that, like, that's a good example of ghosts are everywhere, because I would have never ever thought there was ghosts in a car museum. And even going there, I think we were all skeptic, like thinking this is going to be a dud, nothing going to happen. But since we got in there, the feelings of a ghost hunt was there, the eeriness, everything, the dark corners, it had everything. And
So-
it actually had ghosts. So,
I kind of wish people would say open-minded skeptic. I think some skeptics are so rigid, but when you're a skeptic and you're still investigating and you're still, putting yourself in those positions, it's open-minded. It's an open-minded skeptic, open to the possibilities, right? But you're going to debunk first and see,
it'd be an honest skeptic.
Yeah. So I'm just going to do a quick, we have to do a station ID. We're going to do the station ID quick. And then I have a question for you guys about shadow figures. So if you are just listening in or just joining us in the chat, thank you so much for being here. You are listening to Spirit Switchboard. I'm your host, Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, and you are listening to us live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 FM out of New Orleans. And today's guests are Todd Thomas, Trevor Thomas, and Artie Martins from the Six Nations Investigating Paranormal Encounters SNIPE team from APTN's Ghost Hunters of the Grand River. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us. We're having fun.
So we were talking about, or you were sharing stories about shadow figures. Do you have theories about what the shadow figures are? And some people have never experienced shadow figures, so they're only seeing what captures people get on media. But it's when you see a shadow figure, they're darker than dark. Darker than dark.
Once you see that color, you'll never forget it. The color black. It's amazing how dark it is.
It's dense.
Yeah.
Which one?
Toddy's.
Toddy's?
That's already aired, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that one from the theater? Yeah.
Shelly, we're gonna show you
Shelly.
See?
So that's really funny because that's what people used to call my dad for his nickname, because with our last name being Shellhorn.
Shelly.
Shelly.
My dad used to get called Shelly.
We have a niece, Shelly.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna share a photo that Toddy got.
And that's your son, right, Todd?
Yeah, Todd Jr. Yep, he hunts with us. He's on the show. I love having my kids there with us. It's amazing.
So do you want to set this up?
Sure. We're in this theater and claims of, and it happened to a lot of us. I think Trevor, our producer, and I were standing on the stage and it was pitch black and we all saw this thing. There's somebody sitting there. And then as soon as you zoom in on it with your eyesight, it's gone. And that's the claims of all the actors rehearsing, playing. They see somebody sitting out there, and Toddy was up there in the stands, and he probably took over 500 pictures of location, and he caught this one picture, which just absolutely blows my mind.
Oh, that's wild. So was shadow figures on the bucket list?
It's been crossed off with this picture because what gets me is Artie messes with he can flip the contour and the contrast and all that stuff, and when he did that, you can actually see where the seat goes behind this thing.
Oh, I'll bring it back up.
So it's not like an orb in front of it or anything. Like this thing is sitting in the chair, and it's mind-blowing. And all the claims, and we had our tripwire out, our gadgets out, and they would jump all around, and like we're in one section, he'd be over in the other section. And the story was the guy who actually passed there, he had been there in service with that theater for 50 years. They have a plaque for him. He devoted that much time and love, and he just loved that place so much that he was there over 50 years, and now they're saying it's probably him still there. And nobody's afraid of him. Nobody's really scared of it. It's just, you get kind of the nerve shots when you see it quickly, but he's not hurting anybody. He's just waiting for the next show. That's the way I see it.
That's a great catch. And it's exciting. Like when you get that, that's like, you get stoked and it just makes you want to do it more. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So our Thunder Bay Kate. So Kate is saying the museum shadow figure that Jay and I seen was awesome. You guys were in. Do you want to talk about the basement? We were at the Thunder Bay Museum. Where you guys? What floor you were on, and what you want to set that up?
Oh, shout out! First of all, shout out to Mel and Gail.
Mel and Gail of Lucky Paranormal.
Of Lucky Paranormal for inviting us out there. It was really an amazing. The whole thing was just great, and so they sold these VIP tickets, and they took us to a museum that they frequent, and there was 4 groups: basement, first floor, second floor, and third floor. Right?
Yeah.
And we had the basement. So
I'm glad you guys had the basement. I didn't want the basement.
So during the basement, with the one that Kate's talking about, that was over in the the storage. Right?
More in the storage, where all the artifacts were stored. And as soon as we went over there into that section, we were seeing shadow figures running around in between the rails and everything. And I think we were doing the sense step right there. And that's when she seen the shadow. Her and Jay seen the shadow guy in the corner walking around. But there was multiple people in the group had been seeing them and hearing them move around. And I think there was whispers too in there. It was the basement was very active. That was just in that section. And then where you guys were, it was even better.
Yeah, we were in the boiler room, right?
Mm-hmm. It was even better in there.
It was pretty cool in there too.
So the whole place was excellent.
Yeah.
That's where they brought the prisoners through in the courthouse, right? So that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And when people were coming up to my floor, because I was on the first floor, they were talking about what was happening down there with you guys, and they were all talking about Paul being so rude.
Yeah, we can't say what Paul was saying.
No, we can't. We cannot say the things that Paul was being salty. He was salty. We're going to leave it at that. So Kate is also sharing the face of the figure pop between Trevor and another lady.
Oh yeah, we were standing right there, and there was we were like right against the shelving, and it come out right in between us, like right there in between, and they were standing across from us, like an arm's length away, and they seen it too. It's amazing that, just to have that experience of multiple people seeing it.
So, do you have theories about why they present shadow, what the shadow figures are, or why they present like? Do you have a theory?
I want to share a story before we get to theories.
Yeah.
We were at Pauline Johnson's house, she's with National Historic Site, and Todd seen a shadow. Was that your first one?
Mm.
Todd seen his first shadow person there on the second floor, and it was fleeting, right? You only saw her for a second.
Yeah.
Todd, was the producer with you too, though? Isn't that part of was the producer with you when you saw that?
No, this was years before the show.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I was there. Todd flips out, and it was like a kid on Christmas morning. He was just a big bag of emotions that time.
Yeah.
But as far as theories go, I like what Todd says. They're the what the hell were you saying again? They're there, and they're just showing you. They're allowing you to see them just for that brief moment.
Mm.
And I think that might be true, because a lot of the times we're looking and we do see these things every now and then.
Do you think they use our energy to do it? Like you guys in the basement, when they were showing up all night long, and we were there for quite a while. Like there was we had 4 different groups of 10, so 40, 45 people downstairs at any given time, or throughout the night, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot. And the reactions of people. Do they feed off of the reactions of people as well too, right?
Yeah, that I was gonna say that it's not ideally how we hunt, but that was part of the program. So, but it's all theoretical. Like we don't know the answers. I think that's why we keep doing this, because we want the evidence. We want, okay, yeah, you saw it, but why didn't the camera see it? Or it's just wild.
Or how come he's seen it and I didn't see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's been theories. There's been just from our history of ghost hunting, we ran into some people where they claim that they're entities that aren't human at all. They were never human. They're these entities, and they're just in our realm, and they could present as almost anything.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, when someone does see them, they're shadows.
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard that theory too.
I have to add, though, when I did see that, whether it was a shadow person or a manifestation of some sort, the lights were on. It was in October and it was dark. It was about 7:30 at night, but the lights were all on. And I seen this come out of, they call it the schoolroom. It's right at the top of the stairs to the immediate left, and that's where the mother taught all the kids. So they call it the schoolroom. Right. And she come out of there, and like we were talking or mentioned earlier, the blacker than black, and that's what it is. You cannot describe how black this is.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing.
And then you don't forget it.
Never.
No.
I actually made a sculpture of it.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It was embedded into my head so much I had to sculpt it, and it's donated to the Pauline Johnson House. So if you go there and tour their place, you can see my sculpture in there of what I saw. But yeah, I can close my eyes right now and I can see her.
Wow. So Deb is sharing, I really enjoy the APTN TV show, and especially thought the evidence in the Pauline Johnson house was cool. The responsive color coding was impressive.
Oh, with the REM pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild. Our best one, though, was the music conservatory. We go back. Jay had 28 straight answers with that.
Yeah.
28 straight answers.
Yeah, we can't put that in the show. That'd be the whole show. But, straight answers. Like, if you are this,
intelligent,
find green, and it would green.
Yeah.
Okay, stop. If you find this, light up blue, find blue. Okay, stop. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
I've never seen it like that before, ever, and since.
Yeah.
Facebook. So sorry, I feel like I'm being rude when I'm saying it, but just how it's showing up on here. So someone from Facebook is saying, do you have a theory that you test at every location or use as your primary focus when investigating?
They come up time to time. Like we're always looking for new ways and new techniques. Just recently, I've been starting to experiment with photography. So there's a method in photography called long exposures,
right?
And so that's basically letting your shutter in your camera open up, and all the light will come in for a set amount of time, and then so you can set up for 2 hours, and all the light will come into your camera for those 2 hours, and just take one snapshot of what's in there, right? And during that moment, you'll see, like if someone walks past with the light, you're going to see a streak of light. But if there's no one in the building, and you see something that captures something using that method, that could be amazing. So I've been trying that lately. I don't know if it's going to produce any kind of results. Like I already got something, but I think it has to be talked about.
Right.
I think. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, when we were doing the table tipping and you caught energy between our hands on the table, I would like to see that. That wasn't even like a picture. That was with the thermal, was it not? With the thermal?
Yeah. Yeah. So that part she's talking about, we had the thermal, and you guys are going like that with the table. So the thermal picked up, because the idea with the table tipping is everyone just lightly touches the table and the table moves.
Yeah.
So that thermal picked up, like, just, you could see that the heat, right, from everyone's fingers. It was just barely there. And so that told me, like, if you're pressing on it harder, it would have produced more heat, right? Or it would have made more of a mark. But it didn't. It just showed that
we weren't mucking with it.
Yeah, no one was mucking with it.
Yeah, that was
because mucking is a real term.
That was a wild experience for me. I've never done the table. I've seen it. I've never done it before. I never experienced it. Yeah, it was wild.
I didn't know what it was until I met Kelly. Or Carrie. I can't get your name. Kelly, Carrie. Oh,
it's all good.
Okay.
It's the table tipping so I've been doing the seances, like doing seances from home for small groups for about 9 years. And I just started doing the table tipping with people in the last year, just for something different. I'm the same. Like, I want to try something new and see if it elicits a different response, and can we go a little deeper with it? And the table tipping, it really is, the more that it's that relaxing and laughing and having fun, the more that you respond, the more we got. And it just seemed to feed, more responses. And I love doing the table tipping and just seeing where it goes. And I think maybe too, for the spirits, having a different way of communicating is, good for them too, right? They may want to communicate in different ways.
Todd went out and got his own table after that.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
No, it came to me.
Oh, it came to you.
It showed up on the porch one morning.
Oh, that's awesome.
He rode it home.
So someone from Facebook is sharing, thank you for the show. These guys are great. I understand what they're saying, as we had a spirit in one of our houses we lived in. It wasn't a good one. They're also, wow, the energy with all your energy in one spot must have been phenomenal. Did you notice the energy levels were stronger? So you can, though, right? Like, you can feel when a room's got nothing going on. And when it feels like it's going to be active. Do you want to share about that?
Well, you could feel that. I think everybody feels that. I think that's not a medium trait, because you can feel.
Oh no, that's what I mean. Like a room. Yeah. It's like if somebody's arguing in a room, you can go in there and you can tell it's tense.
Yeah, it's tense.
Something's been happening. But when there's spirits in a space and they're being active, it feels a certain way. And then when they're done, you can feel the room shifts.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I think for me, you can actually feel it. Like, there's nights where you go in and you're setting up and you hear something. It's gonna be good tonight, and then nothing.
Yeah.
Or there's times where your gadgets are all going off and your spirit box is talking, and all of a sudden, just nothing.
Yeah.
Just quits.
Just drops.
Like, okay, let's move on.
Or you walk by that room 10 times that night and nothing happens, and then that one time you walk by there and you don't even want to go in there, like all of a sudden it happens. So it changes, right?
Yeah,
good.
I think they just want to take a break and go for a smoke. They're done. They put maximum effort out for like an hour, and now they're taking a break, right?
Yeah.
The one place when I first went out with SNIPE, there is a stairwell at the mush hole or the residential school. That felt, when you went into that stairwell, it felt like you're walking into someone else's house uninvited. It's like they had their house. It's like someone's place. You just walk right into their living room. That's what it felt like. And I had to push myself to keep walking in that stairwell. I've never really felt that before.
Yeah.
And I haven't felt something like that since, something that strong anyway.
Right. And we can't discount the personal experiences. Like we have to include that as part of our evidence because it's a real thing, you know, like the personal experiences count, I think, personally.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So same person. Sorry, I have to keep calling you Facebook user. So they are asking, do you use the same table every time you do the tipping, or do you use what's available at a location? So I use the same table. I was trying to find like a taller table to take with me for you guys, but I brought just the same one that I always use. But I've watched people use tables like taller, like bar bistro tables that are heavier, and they still will rock and move and roll around. So, and I have to think about the space that I have in my office and how many people are going to be in my space as well too. So
yeah, it gets pretty aggressive.
It does.
It's like full contact paranormal investigating there.
Yeah. And you're bumping into, you're bumping it like flag football.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally bumping into each other. Did you have another piece of evidence that you've got queued up that you wanted to share?
Yeah, we can. We got a bunch. What do you guys want to show?
Right, Mama one.
Mama one.
Pauline Johnson.
Right here, Mama.
The hallway one, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So she's going to put it on a stage and then we'll press play. You want to set this up, Trev?
This is Pauline Johnson's house. We do a lot of investigations here. That's where we have our paddle and all that stuff, you know. And we run groups in there. And this was one night here everybody was talking in there and having fun and joking around. But over top of their voices, you can hear a voice say "Mama." Now, we don't hardly ever get that clear like this, right? Mm-hmm. We hear little murmurs, but this one was pretty good.
So, I wasn't there for this one, but the night I was there, like Mama came through since that too.
That one was Mother.
Portal too.
Yeah, so it's kind of a growing thing now.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll play it.
Oh.
And you got to remember, everybody there is over 16, I think 18 years old, way older people there. There's no children in the house whatsoever.
I'll play it again. Yeah, that's wild.
That is excellent. Excellent EVP.
And that was after we got done. We were just sitting around talking, right? So it's always important to have a recorder going. You know, you want to catch that stuff. You gotta have it running to catch it. So,
yeah, so you guys you weren't actively investigating at the time. You were just kind of having a conversation.
We were, and then we find that a lot of times if we sit and talk about the house or the people in the house, instead of calling out, we just kind of, you know, because we are there working with Pauline Johnson's staff, and they, you know, their mission is to preserve the house, and anything that's sold ticket wise goes to save this house. And in the history, you know, that's our history. We should all know that. And so a lot of times when we're sitting around and nothing's happening, nobody's coming through, we'll just sit and talk about, you know, the Johnson family and who did what and all this. And we find that triggers a lot of these responses, and something like that came through and none of us heard it. Mm-hmm. You know, it was caught on the recorder and the camera, But so is that a part of it that, you know, I don't know.
That happened to us at the Ireland house. Jody McGrath, she comes on all the investigations with me. She was in the downstairs kitchen, and they were just, you know, having their own conversation, and then you can hear Eliza, and that was the wife of the house, and you could hear her saying her name over top of everybody else. It was amazing. Which we'll have a conversation about that, because I got an email from them. So if you guys are wanting to do that Ireland house, we can.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
Of course.
We're up for ghost hunting anywhere.
So we got this other clip too. Todd, you want to set this up?
So for me, this is a thermal piece of evidence, and this was actually in Pauline Johnson's house again. It's in the master bedroom, George and Emily's room. And we work with youth groups, and we took this youth group in for the evening. We don't stay too late with them. And this young man, he come up and he said his hands were really cold, and he was actually holding his aunt's rosary in his hand, so you can see him sing it. Now there's no audio, it's just thermal, but he's stating that his hands are freezing. And so I have this very high-tech thermal gun, and you can see it.
Wow.
Like it's unreal. Like, how this is July, muggy hot night out, and his hands were ice cold. You know, oranges and whites being normal, blacks and purples being cold. And I put my hand in just for reference in that.
Wow.
Now, this is a high-tech piece of scientific equipment. You know, this does not lie. Mm-hmm. And, you know.
And it helps validate his truth. His truth was he was having this experience. And yes. I think, you know, we can go up into our heads and try to discount it or talk ourselves out of it. And then when you're looking at it, you can't discount that. You have to look at it.
We kept talking to him and saying, "Are you okay? You know, do you need to leave?" And the youth group workers were all right there too. I think they put their hands in as well. And we ended up did take him outside, and we did start. We smudged, and he was fine. He said he didn't feel threatened or anything, and we don't feel any kind of malice in that house. I think it's just beautiful old historic home.
Yeah, and you don't know if they were holding his hands because maybe they resonate with his story, or they were comforting him at the same time to let him know that it was okay if he was scared. You're just hanging out. Like, we don't know why they were choosing him to hold his hands. And I would never go to something of malice, because you'd feel something.
Yeah,
it just would feel different. It's more comforting, or, hey, I'm choosing you to connect with, right?
You know, and it could be very easily his relative that passed. So, yeah, that was really cool. I love when the thermal hits, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're taking... Sorry, go ahead, Artie.
I was going to say, just the other day, the thermal came in handy because we were doing a session, and Todd started going on about his finger or his hand being cold. Remember that? We got the thermal out, and just on one spot in his hand, it was all purple. And that was crazy.
Wojo, you're making a great point. Wojo is just saying, or maybe they were praying with him by holding his hands.
Yeah, maybe. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Pretty wild.
So I was gonna see if you're using, or you're connecting with youth groups and taking youth groups out, and you have you know, the opportunity to teach new groups or people asking those questions, where, you know, people listening today that haven't investigated before, where would you tell them to start? How would you encourage them, or, you know, to to start?
The young
What
people?
advice do you have for them?
Anybody?
Because
That's a really good thought.
there's no real rule book. You kind of get tossed into it,
No.
I think, and you learn as you go. But what advice would you give them for starting?
I think I would tell everybody right off the bat to throw out what you think about ghost hunting, because it's not like that. You know, it's not like a big scary thing like that. It's what you put into it. You know, you go into it with open mind, nice and happy, and you have a great time. I mean, when we hunted in Hamilton there, we had a great time. We were laughing, you know, pizza party. We had it, you know, but we still found investigation. We time to do that, and we found stuff, you know, evidence, and it was fun. So I think that if you want to start out, it would be a lot better to start out that way than to go there and this thinking you're going to be all alone in this dark room. There's a whole bunch of spirits chasing you around. You know, it's not like that. You know, it can be, but to start out, you just go with a bunch of friends and have fun.
I'd like to add, you know, that's great points Trevor said there, but I would like to add only the fact that which we come across before, you know, these things that we use on our investigations, we reach out to spirits, you know, old spirits, stuff like that. But we had one at the youth group we were doing in London there in a few years back, and a young man said, I would love to buy one of these so I could talk to my father who just passed. And I you know, I stopped him. I says, you know what? I says, don't use these things to talk to your loved ones like that, because it's something where, you know, talk from your heart. I tell them, talk from your heart. Don't use these things. Keep talking to them because they hear you.
Yeah.
And, you know, I say, we use these things to talk to like 100-year-old ghost that, you know, has no relation to you. That's where you, so if anybody, I would stress, you know, yeah, be respectful to spirit, go out and all that, and be open-minded to it. But, you know, don't buy something like this to try and communicate with your lost loved ones, because you don't even know who you're going to be talking to, first off. And I think you should just always talk from your heart to them. So I just wanted to stress that.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point to make, because it's not dial up a friend. It's not,
right.
you know, we're using the rotary phone and we're going to turn the EVP, like the recorder on, and just connect to that person. It does not work that way. And if you don't understand what the how to close the door properly, or how to deal with whatever may come through, then or you're not with the people that know, then it's not a good idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Kate is asking about where people can purchase SNIPE merchandise. Buy the merch.
That's coming, actually. We have a store is coming, and it's going to be on our website. Stay tuned for that.
And for the audio listeners, those who are watching can see the website running along the bottom, but it's SNIPE HQ. So SNIPE SNIPE HQ.ca. Yes, it is Wojo by the line. So Wojo is part of Bigfoot Banter with Richie B. It is a podcast that airs on Saturday nights at 6, and they have a boots to the ground. They're live all the time, not just on the Saturdays. So they have been on the show as well too. If you want to listen to the archive, it's a great podcast, and what they've got going on is also on Parastream as well too. So you can watch them when they're in the bush and participate. You get to see what's happening at the same time. It's fabulous. So yes, buy the merch is Wojo's line, and Wojo's going to hook me up with an "It's a Wojo Thing" t-shirt, right, Wojo?
Right on. We love SNIPE loves Bigfoot. Just letting you know, we believe in him 100,000%. So.
You really should take a peek at what they've got happening, and it's right in their backyard. They've got a gifting chair that they have lots of interactions with on their gifting chair. Kate says, awesome, thanks. Do you want me to set up your next piece of?
Sure.
Just have to be mindful. We have about 10 minutes.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this goes fast.
It does go fast.
Todd can set this up.
This was another, speaking of youth groups, we took a youth group into I'm actually a millwright, so I work with my boss, and he let me set up in there because the security guards do not like going through this plant in the middle of the night. They've heard a lot of stuff. We actually caught a lot of evidence out of there. But this particular piece of evidence, it was in the winter, and you're going to see, well, we'll play it first and you'll see it.
Okay, here we go. No audio.
So the door opening is actually a very heavy steel door. It has security connectors on it, so it's never open. And for some reason, it opened. We went and checked it out, and outside the door is a little alcove and fresh snow all around, no footprints, nothing. So you can see that
Yeah, it's still crazy.
Do you want to play? Can you play it again, please?
That's not to mention that happened twice that night. The door opened twice.
Crazy.
That is really crazy.
Yeah. Trevor mentioned it happened earlier before that, and the first time it only opened up maybe a quarter of that. No swing back, nothing. And it was just, and then the second time we went and checked it out, and we said, okay. And even the kids were like, oh, wow, so we were all checking it out. And they said, well, let's leave it. Maybe it happened again. And sure enough, about 45 minutes later, this happened the second time.
And I remember it was a still night, like, because we had thought maybe the wind blew it open or something, but no.
Right.
And while we were there, we were all trying it, pushing on it, trying to see if it would open by itself. But you had to actually physically push the handle in to release the latch so it would open.
It's a heavy door.
Heavy door.
Yeah.
It's a security door so that nobody can break in. So it's it works.
Crazy.
Exactly. So, and interactive or something that's intelligent. If it was residual, it's usually a certain time of day at the same time, and it just happens once, not repeatedly like that throughout an evening.
Yeah.
Carrie Lynn, when you watch these things, do you pick up on anything?
Sometimes.
Oh, okay.
If I open up, I do. When you played something earlier, I wrote it down. I can send it to you. I can send it to you later if you want me to.
Oh,
awesome.
Yeah. I try not to though.
Okay.
I try not to be.
Right. Okay.
Because then I don't want people thinking we're doing sessions through this where people start asking me questions in the comments.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. But yes, watch me get all awkward about it. But at the Ireland House, we didn't have a camera set up in the new kitchen. The new kitchen was built in 1920, and we had somebody doing the SS method in there, and the servant's door, which has one of those old-fashioned iron latches. You got to push up on the handle to get it to unlatch. It unlatched, and it has because it's an older house and the floor is not even, right? It has a bit of a pull. You got to tug to get the door open, and that door slid open without even making a noise. While she was doing the SS method, we were all standing there watching it open up. It was crazy. I would love for it to happen a second time and make sure that we've got the camera rolling when it does. Because that's the thing. Like, you just wanted to get it on camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard.
You know what? They we got lucky that night too, because we had an extra camera, and we're like, oh, let's just set it out. And we were at the end of our line. I just set it out, and we ended up catching that door opening twice.
That's wild. Wild.
Sometimes you can plan and strategize. Other times you just get lucky.
Are there different equipment or approaches, things that you haven't tried that are on the radar, or places that are on the radar that you haven't been to that you would like to get to?
Well, my dream is to spend the night in a 400-year-old castle in Scotland. So that hopefully will come in the next 5 or 10 years. But
we need to hook you up with Rick McCollum, because Rick McCollum goes steady and he does all kinds of stuff in castles. We need to connect you guys.
Oh,
there we go.
Yes, please connect us.
I will.
I'm always looking to try new stuff. My big thing I want to try is, I know it's really expensive, unfortunately, but I'm looking into LiDAR. How it scans their room. Our producer is actually a real estate man, and they use it in their things to sell houses and map out houses and rooms and all that. So I'm like, well, why not map out a room with a haunted location and see if something you can catch. The problem with it is you have to kind of watch with the software, so you have to be there watching it, sort of thing. So that could be a long shift. But hey, we always gotta try. We always gotta push things forward, and don't be afraid to try something. We started out with a little bit of bravery or stupidity, I should say, and a recorder, and that's it. Now we're up to what we have, so it's awesome. Keep going forward.
Right. And so but with still stupidity, because we still keep going to it. My dad gives me such a hard time all the time. Are you still doing that witchy stuff? Yes.
That's Artie's dad.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Two raccoons making love.
Yeah. We heard a noise before, and it was like it sounded really wild, and we're all like, "Oh wow, what is that? What is that?" So I shared it with my dad, and he's like, "That's just two raccoons going at it."
Somebody, I forget who it was, told me they caught what they thought was a ghost farting, a spirit farting, and I'm like,
my goodness.
I don't know. So did it smell?
Awesome.
Like you can smell cigarette smoke.
Start gagging.
You catch that stuff. I don't have anything expensive like a LiDAR thing, but I want to try doing table chimes, like taking wind chimes that are just sitting on but small table size, and seeing if they can move the wind chimes for like yeses and no's, something simple like that. That's what I want to try next. You're welcome. Somebody is just saying amazing shows. Thank you for being here. Yep, we're all looking forward to the new season, which is starting in January for Ghost Hunters of the Grand River.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
In at the Falls at Bracebridge. Have you guys been there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was season 2.
Yeah.
That place was amazing. Absolutely awesome. Mina was her name?
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Husband, Mina. I think
Yeah.
her name was. They were so cool.
These locations we go to, I'm always it's always super interesting because we get this whole dose of history.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to be a paranormal investigator, you gotta love history. They go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And so like we found out that was a German settlement back in the day, and we were hoping to catch like an accent. We may have, didn't we?
I thought we did.
Yeah. So just that, I love that stuff.
Yeah, me too. So where can people reach you?
They can reach us on our website, SNIPEHQ.ca. There's a message app there, a contact tab. Our email is info@snipehq.ca. Todd likes to give out his personal phone number all the time.
No.
Oh, that's got to change.
I did it once and he bribing me all the time.
Highly don't recommend.
Email's great. Email's great.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Email's
and you guys are
fine.
on social
You
media?
get mixed up with Jay.
No. Oh yeah, Jay likes
Jay's
to.
the one.
He likes to reach out. Oh my god.
Facebook, Instagram.
Facebook. We have our SNIPE page. So Six Nations Investigating Paranormal Encounters on Facebook, and that's linked to our Instagram. And we also have a TikTok happening. All of which is SNIPE HQ. We're just starting to get into that kind of realm. We want to post more this season. We want to do more with Instagram and TikTok, and so like I did some just now during this. So
It's a lot. It's a lot of trying to juggle all the social media stuff takes a lot of time, and but
I know
it's a great way to connect with thank you so much to everybody that was in the chat today. Like, people like being able to connect and comment and interact, and thank you to everybody that participated in the chat, asked questions and commented. You guys are a big part of what makes Spirit Switchboard what it is, and I appreciate all of you for being here.
Square.
Oh, Wizard.
Yeah.
Shout out to Wizard.
And thank you to the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 FM out of New Orleans. If you guys want to hang out, Jeffrey Pritchett is up next with the Church of Mavis. And thanks, guys. Thanks, Todd, Trevor, Artie of SNIPE. Thanks for being here, and I'd love to have you back anytime.
Awesome.
Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you. A lot of fun.
Have a good night, everyone.
Yep.